Yeah.
We're gonna do a little bit of I guess housekeeping before we get into this countdown. So it was
Right.
brought to our attention that DJ Vlad has an interview with TK Kirkland, and once again they're kind of dissing Nas, and it goes to that whole notion.
Not kinda.
This is the thing. Let me rewind. I think because we're one of the first, if not only, media outlets who start calling out other media outlets that seem to have had a thing against Nas. People continuously send us, you know, posts or news or, whatever interviews when people are low key dissing Nas. And I mean, keep it coming. You know what I'm saying? And I
The,
never really until we actually had that discussion a few months ago. I never really noticed how hard the media is on Nas. And so, well, first we'll go into the TK Kirkland thing. Did you see his little interview? It was like 2 minutes or something, like 2 minutes and 41 seconds. Did you see it?
no, I didn't. I didn't need to see it. I saw a blurb about it. It was like politics as usual.
No, you should have watched it because honestly, they went out there and were saying a lot of things that weren't true, and immediately Jay Z's name came in the conversation, and then they were talking about Nas being inconsistent, and I'm like, wait a minute, King's Disease Two, Nasir, and the Lost Tapes is whatever, but we're talking about four projects in the past what 4 years, and number one, people could say what they want about Nasir, but when Nasir came out, people were ranting and raving about how much they loved it. And when he dropped that whole video for every song on there, that's all the internet was talking about. Number two, King's Disease, highly regarded. Not only was it highly regarded, it's Nas's first Grammy for Album of the Year. Best Hip Hop Album. Not to say that that means anything, but that means that the grassroots and the mainstream were, receiving that album well. Boom. King's Disease 2, and I think everyone was on the same page in the fact that King's Disease 2 is a quality project and probably hip hop's album of the year so far. So they got in that interview. I would play it, but I don't want Vlad to hit us on any, copyright violation stuff or whatnot. But they got in that interview and basically was talking about how Nas can't contend with Jay Z in the verses. That's how Jay Z's name came in it. They were talking about the Memphis Bleak comment and basically said that Nas is inconsistent, but Jay is consistent in 444. I mean, is way better than KD too. And I'm like, let's be real. And
They
they
said
talking
that
about,
live
yeah, they're talking about hits
on
and hit.
camera in front of people.
They're talking about Jay Z's hits and all that, and I get it.
Oh
And you
man.
know me, anybody who watches the show, they know that what I'm saying. I'm a fan of both of them, but I'm more of a Jay Z guy than a Nas guy. But the fact that y'all want to sit here and say 444 is better than King's Disease and King's Disease 2, like, come on, man, it's just not the truth. And it's not the truth that he also made a comment that on 444 Jay had hits or something. And I'm like, listen,
Hit the
we
wall.
need to come to the realization that the last time Jay Z put out hit records was 2009. We're
Is
going
that
on.
Blueprint 3?
It's Blueprint 3. Last Jay Z records that were hit records based on the standards of what Jay Z radio singles or hit records are. We'll Run This Town, On to the Next One, and Empire State of Mind. It's nearly 13 years ago. We got to be honest with ourselves. And you want to talk about consistency? And it's crazy you want to sit here and knock Nas for being inconsistent, but the guy that you're praising for consistency ain't dropped a hit, and you're praising him on hits again in 12 years. I don't understand what the media or Vlad in particular has against Nas, but if you go on to YouTube right now, type in Vlad and Nas, it's like 13 pieces of content interviewing different people from Godfrey to Charlemagne, Lord Jamar to Large Professor, just shitting on Nas for no reason. Like what does Vlad have against Nas? It's like literally like 5 or 6 different videos about Nas being the worst beat picker in hip hop, which isn't true either. It's like, come on, man. Like, do you want Nas to mention you in a song? What's the deal? Like, what does Vlad have against Nas? Do you have any knowledge that I don't have, or anybody in the chat have any knowledge that I don't have about the history of Vlad and Nas?
So there's a few things. First of all, if any of our legends are being mistreated, we want to hear about all of them being mistreated. It just so happens that Nas has been a focal point because, like I've been stating, Mike, this has always been some sort of agenda and focal point damn near since it was written, got released. We're talking about 1996. So I'm going to get back to the core of when this started because it never really changed. That's where the whole beat picking thing came into question. Like everything that they're saying, that's old stuff from 1996, and it just keeps on getting recycled and regurgitated to the point that I feel like there is some sort of agenda involved. Specifically, as it concerns Nas, because he's anti-establishment, and he hasn't done the best job in his prime about commingling, doing interviews, and things of that nature. But most of what they're saying is just inaccurate, and quite frankly, it's fucking absurd. And you know, Mike, like people don't understand how easy it is in this business just to like do sucker shit because other people do sucker shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it just seems like he's riding some wave from when he was younger that he's just never stopped riding for it. Like Mike, it's almost like he talks about Nas in a manner that makes you feel like Jay paid him like some sort of has some sort of annuity set up that disperses payments like once a year for him to do stuff like this.
Right, and it's one of those things where it's almost, I agree with you. It's like Jay ass kissing mixed with Nas bashing. I don't know which one it is more. It seems like more of Nas bashing, but it's like you want to, in the same time,
give you a little sprinkle of that J love though.
Yeah, it's like every time you bash Nas, somehow you find a way to big up Jay, and it's like, listen, man, Jay doesn't need any more big enough than he already has. And if we, again, I'm a big Jay fan. If we be perfectly honest, Magna Carta was trash.
I wouldn't call it trash, Mike. You keep saying it's trash.
Magna Carta was trash. It's his worst album. It is.
It's a little Nostradamus, yeah.
It's his worst album. Based on the standards that we hold him to, you don't think it's trash? You like Magna Carta?
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I'm just very, very careful when I call something trash. Okay. Like I don't even call Nostradamus trash. I'm just like, what was the God thinking? You know
maybe
what I'm saying?
Maybe that's too harsh. I apologize.
Right.
You're right. Maybe
you feel what I'm saying? Like when
it's
you
his
call
worst
something
album.
Trash.
It's his worst album.
Like I'm not saying it's strong. There's 2 or 3 moments on there, kind of like with Nostradamus. It's one of those projects that it's probably like one of his, if it's not his worst effort, one of the bottom 2 or 3. But even when a legend like him gives you like a project like that, there's still 2 or 3 joints on there where you're like, oh, okay.
Well, see, that's the thing though. As a Jay fan, I didn't get that from Magna Carta, because usually on Kingdom Come, which I think is one of his worst efforts, you get the song Kingdom Come. You get those moments where he spazzes out. Can we
stop? Huh? Can we stop for a second? I'm glad you're bringing that up. Mike on the way home just now, Lost Ones played.
Yeah, good song.
Mike, it's actually a great song to me. I think it's one of his better records. I love that record. And you want to know what I really thought about when I heard that record? These types of records, that type of record is really what's been missing from him in them latter stages of his career, the last 10 years or so, because really that's where Nas has been winning at.
I think that's what he was trying to go on Kingdom Come, but he didn't go full throttle there, right? Because he was doing like 30s the new 40s the new 20 or whatever it was.
Right. Well, I think that's kind of what I thought about 444 when I heard it, because I was like, 444 is really an extension of Lost Ones. It's just not a good extension, because it's like for Jay, when he's going to talk that way, I mean, Mike, it sounds sweeter when Dre's doing the beats and stuff. Like he's going to have to twerk and work some things in order to make that work. And I think he just kind of relied on himself. But yeah, the stuff that they're saying about Nas being inconsistent is consistent with their rhetoric. It just happens to be, misplaced and foolish.
Well, you know what the thing, and I want to go back to Magna Carta too, because I don't want to leave that thought
Oh,
undone.
no, no, no. Go ahead, please do.
Um, I mean, like I said, you normally could point to a moment where Jay spazzed out, even on some of his weaker albums. Like Volume 3, I think is one of his weaker albums, but he has his moments on there where, So Ghetto, or his last verse on Do It Again. You know what I mean? Or if you think the
Hold on, Mike.
Blueprint
Hold on,
2
Mike.
isn't there, you got Hovey Baby. There's no moments like that on Magna Carta at
Hold
all.
on.
So,
Mike? Do you like Volume 3?
I don't love Volume 3. I think the Volume 3 for the time, the singles and some of the songs on there, they're good enough. But based on his standard, I think Volume 3 falls towards the bottom of the list.
I mean, first of all, the original version had anything on it, and the original version too is That Yo Bitch. That was the original version before it got bootlegged. That's what led to the whole Lance thing, was actually the bootlegging of that album.
Mm-hmm.
I actually thought that was a dope album though, Mike. Like it's a 4. It's a solid 4.
You
He's
think
got some shit
Volume
on there.
3 is a 4? That I disagree with. I think
I
it's a
do. I'm
three
gonna
and a
tell you
half
why,
at
Mike.
best.
There's some stuff on there. Like I told you, Mike, Come and Get Me is one of Jay's best songs. That's
No,
on
Come and Get
Volume
Me is
3.
dope. Come and
Come,
Get Me is dope.
in New York City Marcy Projects, NYMP, The Realist. That
I
was
didn't
dope.
like Dope Boy. Not Dope Boy. Dope
You
Man.
didn't like Dope Man? They call me Dope Man. Dope Man.
I see what he was trying to do.
His bars on there are
Concept
crazy though,
records.
Mike. His bar game on Dope Man's crazy.
Concept records aren't his strong point. And that's
No,
one
but
thing we can say.
but
Between the two of them.
oh, I mean, between the two of them, that's not fair to Jay to like put him
No,
in,
I'm just
in
saying,
that
but
place.
we always want to compare Nas to Jay whenever things benefit Jay's strong points. I'm just saying.
Oh no, conceptually, he's never been on Nas's level. But Dope Man, I thought was a dope record. So Ghetto's on there. Do It Again is still a dope record.
I like
the
it.
verses on there from Beans and Jay are just like elite. Especially for a single, Mike. That's elite emceeing for it to be a lead single
I
off an
love
album.
that. I love that record. Hold on, I'm
Me
pulling up
too.
Volume 3 right now, and I'm
Big
going.
Pimpin' still on there.
You like Big Pimpin'? Let's just keep it a
Snoopy
buck.
track is on there, Mike.
I love
Snoopy
Snoopy track. I love
That's
Snoopy
what I'm
track.
saying, Mike. We just named like 4, 5, 6 bangers.
But see,
like,
the problem with Volume 3 is that the bad songs on there bring it down. And it's very
they're bad.
hard.
Like S. Carter.
Yeah, S. Carter's trash. Pop
Yeah,
for
it's
Rock
bad.
is trash.
Pop for Rock is terrible outside of Bean's verse.
Yeah, it's bad. The Things You Do with Mariah Carey is bad.
Oh, God.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's one of those albums
That's
where,
bad.
yeah, the bad moments, and it's not like Volume 1, where I think Volume 1's bad moments don't totally drown out the great moments in Volume 1 because of how strong he's rapping. He's not rapping anywhere near as strong on Volume 3 as he is on Volume 1. Would you agree with that?
Man, the only problem with 97 Hove is that he didn't make the smash records that he was about to make. Everything about that MC is all-time great. That's what I'm saying. That's him when he was in his pocket. He's just like, and that's the thing about the switch up that I talk about with him too. It's like, oh, if you heard him in 96 and 97, like his hit, like Mike, that's most of his dope shit. And it's not like the hit making stuff. That's what I keep trying to tell people. He made himself into that. But that shit he's spitting in 97 is crazy. I keep telling people, man.
It is. One thing that Jay does, people in the chat are basically saying the same songs we're talking about. Pop for Rock, S. Carter, Things You Do are awful. Yeah. The difference between, I guess Magna Carta, again, like usually in his weakest moments, he'll give you some of the moments where you can make an excuse for the album. And I just think Magna Carta didn't do that. I think about Volume 3 like how you kind of think about Volume 2. I don't think even the good songs aged that well.
I'll get with you on that. Outside of Come and Get Me and So Ghetto are the only tracks that I listen to where it's like it sounds like classic Jay, but it doesn't sound too dated.
What about Hot as Hot?
I was never as big on Hot as everybody else was.
I like the beat. Timbaland did his thing, but 38 revolve like the sun around the earth. Those just aren't good bars. It's not true. Sun doesn't revolve around the earth, kids. Just for everyone out there. But yeah.
What are we
If
doing?
we're gonna no, I'm just saying, if we're gonna go out there and be balanced like this, let's be balanced. And let's not go out there continuing narratives that aren't true anymore. What
So
Vlad
let's
should have done was just be like, you know what, I've said in the past about Nas, in the past couple of years, he's proven me wrong.
You
That's what
want to
I
know what
would
he
have
need to
rather
do?
have heard.
That's what he need to do. He need to eat the food. I'm gonna go to
But he's
something.
not doing that. He's doubling down.
Remember when Max was like on First Take talking about Tom Brady all those years, and Shannon on Undisputed talking about Tom Brady on all those years? They got to a point where they was like, "You want to know what? I don't know what I was talking about this situation. I was wrong."
I'm sure I've had to do that on this microphone because I've said similar things about Nas in relation to Jay-Z. Even when we had that conversation about catalogs, and I was like, you know what, you're right. Nas has passed Jay right now. And it's just the truth. If we sit here looking over the past 13 years and we culminate everything in that, anybody thinking otherwise is living in 5 years ago. You know what
Mike,
I'm saying?
I always told you, Mike, if you go like check the boxes of MCing, outside of delivery and catalog, he was never better than Nas in any of those other things. Is he a better lyricist? No. Is he a better storyteller? No. Is he better conceptually? No. He's better at making hit records. His catalog was better. It's not better anymore. He has a better delivery. So right now what stands is his delivery and hit maker. Nas is checking every other box. So if we do a list of 10, he's not about to check any other boxes. And what was really holding him in this was the catalog.
You know what Vlad said too? Because my memory's coming back now that we're talking. They were talking about a Verzuz. He was like, what is Nas gonna do if Jay plays Crazy in Love? Are you serious?
What is he talking about?
What are you talking about?
Nobody around Jay would ever let him play that record versus
I
Nas
wish
in the
Jay
Verzuz.
would play Crazy in Love in a Verzuz against Nas. And then Nas is like, get out of here, man. Like,
So think about this. This is a big media personality disseminating this information like Drunken Love even belongs somewhere in the realm of something Jay should pick for a Verzuz.
They didn't even say Drunken Love. They said Crazy in Love.
Pick one. Drunken Love, Crazy in Love. I love the dough, Mike. Like what? Like
this is what I would say about and I don't know if you feel like this either. We've never really talked about this. I think when Jay-Z collaborates with Beyonce dominates the conversation, or not the conversation, but the collaboration, excuse me.
Mike, his best.
And I don't think they make good music together. I'm just going to say that.
Mike, his best verse with her is actually Upgrade You.
Think so? I was going to go
is.
more Deja Vu. I think that's their best collaboration to me. And even Upgrade You's not. I've never gotten Upgrade You like that, man. I mean, I get the message.
Nah, his flow.
I get
his
the
flow
message,
is ridiculous on there, Mike. His flow is ridiculous on there. It is like he's like for that to be like a big R&B ish. Like it's damn near a pop single for him to be like, yeah, he's swagging on there. He's tough on there.
You know what's interesting, man? I think that
he tightened that track up.
Me personally, I like when Jay doesn't collaborate with people. And that's why I'm a fan of The Blueprint. That's why I think that Reasonable Doubt is his best album. I understand where you're talking. Volume 1's biggest moments is when he's not collaborating with people.
97 Hove, Mike. Yeah. When he's going for Dolo, he's a beast.
Yeah, when he's going for Dolo, he's a beast. But I think that the shortcomings with him going for Dolo is commercial success.
Right. So, Mike, if you were to break down his catalog, like of his greatest stuff, most of the solo records, like where it's just him, it's on Reasonable Doubt in Volume 1. The other stuff has somebody else on it on the rest, on a lot of that stuff. There's moments like Public Service Announcement where it's just him.
Right.
And like that's why I like the Black Album.
I like the Black Album
kind
too.
of that's why I love the Black Album so much, because it's kind of a throwback, because really it's him. And when he goes for Dolo, it's crazy. 99 Problems, Mike. That's his best concept record ever. Like that's the best concept record he's ever executed.
Okay. I never really think of 99 Problems like that, but yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's
the year is 94, and my trunk is on.
Yeah, he did a good job storytelling.
Motherfucking law. I had two choices, y'all: pull over the car or bounce on the metal, put the pedal to the floor. And I ain't trying to see no highway chase with Jake. Plus, I got a few dollars, I can fight the case.
You know what I think? I think that I think Rick Rubin's direction probably has something to do with how focused that was too. I don't think it's any mistake that his best concept record and his best story flowed record is produced by Rick Rubin. I
I
don't
love
think that that's by
Mike.
coincidence.
99 Problems is one of his 20 best records to me. And that's
Interesting.
saying a lot. Yeah,
Interesting.
that's how dope he is and how concise he is with putting something together. You don't hear him do that, even if it's in the vein of the rhetoric he likes to speak of. Lucifer's on there. Lucifer's crazy. My first song, yeah, Black Album's got a bunch of stuff on it.
DiCarlo says, nah, that Run Part 2 is fire. You don't feel like Run Part 2 is damn near just Beyonce's song? I think she really dominated that collaboration. I mean, he came through with the outlaw shit, bumping Tupac, but that was more Beyonce. I'm just saying. I mean, the only way we're gonna find out is if we get a versus, and I think that again, it seems like people are damn near trying to punk Nas into a versus, acting like, you know what I'm saying? Like they want him to say something. Nas is such an enigma out here, man. It's wild. It's like
What
people
is
are
he
trying to
gonna
poke the
do?
bear or something.
Like, what is he gonna do about Death Row East? Like, I don't think you understand when that shit comes through the speakers and it just can't. Like, no.